All right, this is my review of October 7th, 2025. Um, you can see here we're down on the day, but in monetary amount, it is so much less than the previous days. Um, I am still in a drawdown. I am still red on the month of October, but today was a huge leap forward in the right direction as far as consistency, managing my losses, sticking to my rules, stuff like that. I'm very very proud of the way I traded today, and I want to carry these lessons forward. So that's why I'm here reviewing. I had 10 trades today. 4 of those were large trades, so full size trades, and 6 of those were 1/4 size trades. I'll break down the totals first. Out of those 10 trades, I had 4 wins and 6 losses for a win rate of 40%. So still a negative win rate. My goal is to try and get that up in the next couple sessions. My average winning trade was only 2 ticks, and my average losing trade was 3 ticks. So still quite a bit of disparity between the winners and the losers there. So still some problems to fix. The last 2 sessions have been very low volume, at least at the open, which is where I trade. I can't really speak for what's going on past 10:30 because that's when I stopped trading. Um, just to recap my month so far, there's been a whole lot going on with P&L volatility. This is kind of where I'm sitting, just according to tick value. So pretty steady, consistent drawdown. There were a couple sessions where I was breaking rules like trading the close or going over my risk limit and tilt trading and emotional trading and uh, a lot of discipline problems in this big October drawdown. And a lot of uncontrollable losses. Like this big loss right here was outside of my control. There was nothing I could do to stop it. But we're gonna focus on today. For today, I don't think any of this drawdown had to do with discipline. I think this is all just solid edge and solid trades that just ended up not working. Now, why my system is not working, why my strategy is not working, is something that's going to take time to diagnose. I have a couple ideas in place. For one, I want to get into playbooking my setups. I have one really nice setup right now that I'm working on that I want to fully identify, fully playbook, and be able to trade it systematically. Just to boost my confidence up a little bit because I do think a lack of confidence led to some execution mistakes, not disciplinary, not discipline or emotional mistakes, but just execution, getting out of trades too early, stuff like that. We'll see. I had a really really nice setup at some point in the day that I got out of way too early, and it ended up being an awesome trade had I stayed with it. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now. Let's go over my daily plan for today first. This was the daily chart. You can see here we've got some really weird price action on the daily chart. I went back and looked, and over the last 2 months, we've only had maybe 2 or 3 inside days. Inside days are very rare on ES, at least right now they are. And we had basically 2 in a row. You could see at the time that I took this screenshot, we had breached the prior day high, but it's still so tight. I mean, look at the range of these wide candles back here, and then look at the range of these last 3 candles. Super tight. So if we, my plan was if we accept above prior day high, I'm going to be long biased. Breach and accept below, short bias. Acceptance below prior day low, short bias, and breach and accept above, long bias. what ended up happening was that we breached above prior day high off the open and accepted low. So I was short biased pretty much the whole day. And I don't know where we're going to close at, but I know right now we're currently trading much lower. So being short biased was the right move today. Narrate every trade. My long-term goal is that I do not trade after 2 big losses and or 3 small losses. I put the and or in there because I think it does require a little bit of discretion. Because if I'm up, let's say $200 on the day, and then I lose two $50 trades, I'm still up on the day. And while I might not be able to keep trading the same contract size, I still have, some gas in the tank on the smaller contract size or vice versa. So I want to keep that and or in there to leave it up to me to decide. The problem with that, and the problem you'll see in the trades coming up, is that it kind of invites contentment issues. Um, on paper today, I did follow that rule. I only had here. Let's filter these out. So if I just filter for minis, I only had two losses on full contract size, one win, one break even. And then if I filter for micros, you'll see that I had 3 losses. So on paper, I followed that rule. I had 3 small losses and 2 big losses. However, in full transparency, I was still trying to trade after that. I wanted to trade. I was scalping. I was hunting a setup that never ended up coming, and we hit the end of my session, which is 10:30, and that's a hard stop. I have to follow that rule. So that hard stop at 10:30 saved me from over trading and breaking that rule. So anything past these losses would have technically been over trading and breaking my rules, and I'm very glad I didn't do that today. Anything else for the daily plan? Take 3 pulse checks before trading, and I did do that. I had 3 good pulse checks, which I am proud of, so I will tag that appropriately. I do not have my recording. How would we get that going? Would help. That would certainly help. So let's get that in there. The video starts at 9, 20, 15. 9, 20, 15. Yeah. All right. So there's my playback. Trade number 1 is going to be 15 minutes after the open, which I'm really proud of. That's kind of what I want to shoot for. I as much opportunities as there are in the first 10 minutes, that should be reserved for pulse checks and mental trades. Now, that being said, I did run into a technical error today where I was trying to trade earlier, and it would have been a winning trade, but the order would not execute. And it turned out that I had to open up my prop firm. I had to submit a ticket, which they got back to me very, very fast, and I was able to continue trading for the rest of the session. So I was trying to trade before this, but it was still even. I think even when I was trying to trade, it was closer to 10 minutes after the close. So still proud of my patience, even in that context. Trade number 1 is going to be a 2-tick profit to the short side. Almost all my trades were short today because I was short biased at this point. Let's watch the playback and listen to the narration. Let's try another one here. Okay, that one filled. Short 98.25. I'll take it off for 2 ticks. 97.75. Okay, that worked. So I think my orders are working again. That was so you can hear me talking about whether my orders are working, and luckily they were. So because of the context of having technical issues, I did not hold this trade as long as I could have, especially considering that I'm on 1/4 size contracts. I could have easily held this for a point, but when things like that happen, when I run into technical issues and issues that are outside of my control, I tend to err on the side of caution. I don't want to push anything when I'm experiencing technical troubles like that. So 2 ticks, I'm very happy with that. Let's go ahead and tag this. Trend favor, risk on. I had big order blocks in my favor and small order blocks in my favor. And I didn't have anything against me. It doesn't look like. Yeah, I'll even go as far to say reclaim advantage, multiple factor support, entry good. I'm gonna do I'll do exit early just because I could have held it a little longer. This was a conservative scalp. I'll give it a C grade setup. It's not great. There's not a whole lot that I want out of this. I think it was worth what I did get out of it. I did have slip favor. I was clear because I had those good pulse checks. What were my heart rate was 2 tick win. Heart rate was pretty good here. I will tag that as being green. Technically it did hit 100. So yeah, maybe I will tag that properly, but I'll keep it as calm. Despite being at 100 beats per minute, I was very calm here. I'm gonna put maybe content. Unfortunately, I think all my tags, all my trades today were at maybe contentment. I don't think I was perfectly content today just because I'm at such a nasty drawdown. I was also so tempted to break my rules. It's actually kind of a miracle that I didn't. But my patience is good. I am patient here. I will green star that one. Trade number 2 is a couple minutes later. It's a 2-tick profit to the short side on the 1/4 size. Try it 97.75 short. I'll risk 99. Take it there for 2 ticks. So it's pretty unfortunate that I got 2 ticks because this instantly goes a point in my favor. I think I just jumped out of it way too quick. So this one would probably be a yellow star. I really should have held that a lot earlier. Entry good. I had big order blocks and small order blocks in my favor. This was risk on. I had the trend in my favor. And I think that's it. I'll even put liquidity area because we are technically putting in I'm gonna change that tag actually from saying liquidity area to support resistance area. And that way I just kind of know better what's going on there. So I had a support resistance area that I was trading off of. Nothing really against me that I can see. Nothing on my backside. Conservative scalp. This is probably a B grade setup. It's pretty decent for me. I wish I had held it longer. I did have slip favor. I was clear. I was calm. My heart rate was a little elevated though, so let's tag that. I'll put that as yellow because I think the average was the average heart rate there was a little lower, like 105. Maybe content. Yes, patience. Trade number 3 is a break even to the short side, and this is on full size, full contract size. This I think was the one that ended up. No, this one. I don't know. Let's watch. Risk 97.50 on it. I'll take the 2 ticks if it'll give it to me. I'll take the 1 tick if it'll give it to me. I'll take the break even. Got the break even. Really like the quick. So that technically ended up being a good break even. However, I think if I'm looking at this objectively, in hindsight, it was a good break even, but without using any hindsight, I think even if I got 2 ticks out of it, it would have still been early, technically speaking. Because in a setup like this, I do want to see it trade all the way down through these orders. So that's kind of a tough one because in hindsight, it was a good cut. But according to my system, it was early and it was a little bit of fear. But sometimes fear helps you, so I'm not gonna beat myself up over it too bad. I had order blocks in my favor, pretty significant order blocks too. I had a support resistance area working for me. I had trend favor. This was risk on. Nothing on my backside really. I do think I have a couple small order blocks on my backside. I'll mark that. Entry good. I really don't know how I want to tag this. I'll do exit good because on one hand, I wish, according to my system, it should have gone further. But I also tried to get 2 ticks out of it, which is very conservative, and I like trading conservative. I think I should trade conservative, so I'm not going to beat myself up over it. This was probably a B setup, maybe an A. I had slip favor. I was clear. Let's back up the video because I do think my heart rate spiked pretty high there. I think it was good. Is some invalid this? 96. No, actually, it's pretty calm. Spikes. See, the edge was there, so it's still high. I'll mark it yellow, but I was pretty calm, maybe content, and yes, patience. I was pretty patient here. I'll even green star. I'll green star this trade. I mean, break evens are good. I'll take break evens whenever I can get them. Trade number 4 is a 3-tick profit to the short side on full contract size. And this is essentially a try 2 of the previous setup. 5, risk 99.50. See if I can get the point out of it. Touch the point. I'll try to take 3 ticks off of it. And I got the 3 ticks. So I got 3 ticks out of it, but it was not easy. You can see my heart rate here is almost 130, which is fucking high, you know? So it also kind of sucked to watch this go so much lower. Like that should have been my ideal target right there. So let's screenshot this one. My entry was around here, I believe. And then my exit was here. But my ideal exit, I would have liked to see this at least take back the first significant order block down here. So my entry, my exit, ideal exit. I also want to, what did I just do? Oh, you fucking, do that again. Entry, exit, ideal exit. also a pretty significant liquidity right here. All right, I think that's pretty good. Yeah, I dare say this is an A plus setup. So we've also got a area of interest here. So yeah, I think I piked this one. This was, or could have been at least the easiest trade of the day. I'm a little upset that I piked it, but at least I am doing my review and I can identify exactly where I went wrong. So yeah, this was a really good setup here. I will tag it as such. This is an A plus in a risk on environment with an area of interest. Big order blocks, small order blocks. I had reclaim, I had V flush. And I had trend favor, multiple factors of support. On my backside, I didn't really have anything. I think there's maybe one order block on my backside. That's about it. Entry good, exit early. I think this is technically a try to. No, I'll consider those different setups because before it wasn't nearly as good as this. This was a conservative scalp, but it should have been an aggressive move to move. I could have easily gotten away with an aggressive move to move on this. Fear, I'm going to take that as fear because I got out way too quick. Slip favor. Actually, I think I was slip against, which isn't horrible. It was clear. I'm going to put maybe calm because my heart rate did go way up. I don't think I was perfectly calm here. Maybe content and yes, patient. I was pretty patient waiting for this guy to set up. And that will be a green star. Just want to recap this guy one more time. Yeah, definitely could have held this longer. That's okay, though. Trade 5 is a 5-tick loss to the short side on a full-size contract. Take it 93, risk 94.5. Took a loss there, 5-tick loss, which is okay. So pretty quickly take a loss here. And I think that was because I was too quick, too impulsive. And my next trade is a try 2 of that. And it ends up being another just incredible setup. So I did technically have order blocks in my favor. I had reclaim in my favor. I had trend favor. This was risk on. The quality here is like a B. It's not great, but it's about to be really good. I'm gonna stretch real quick. I'm gonna tag this as area of interest because we have this high volume node on the larger time frame, and you're gonna see that gets pretty good in the next trade. This was an aggressive scalp, which is okay. It's okay to be aggressive in a risk on market as long as I'm trading in the favor of my bias. I had slip favor. I thought I was clear. I thought I had good clarity here, but I was just a little early. My beats per minute are high, so I'm going to say maybe calm, maybe content, and I'm going to say maybe patient because my entry was clearly way too early. I will yellow star this one. Now, trade number 6. This one's going to be hard to watch because I take it off for a 2-tick loss instead of letting my stop do its job. And had I just stayed in it and let my stop breathe, I would have caught like 2 points off this thing. So let's watch it. 95.50. So I say it there, risk 95.50, and we'll see that never ends up hitting. Close, it touches it. But I've chosen that area for a reason. I've chosen that area because if price goes through it, my trade is invalidated. So I could even let it breathe a little bit more. 4 ticks might be too tight for this kind of trade, especially since I'm looking to get, at the time of placing this trade, I was looking to get about 2 points out of it. My first target would have been 92.75. So if I'm short at 94.50, yeah, that's 7 ticks. My first target. And I don't necessarily take it off at the first target. Sometimes I let it breathe. And I think if we watch this price action, this was a scenario where I would have let it breathe. This would have ended up being an awesome trade. So the biggest takeaway for this is just let my stop do its job. don't get in the way of my stop. You know, sometimes it's good to take a smaller loss, but there's got to be a reason for it. If there's not really a reason here, it's kind of hesitating too long, and I do say that in the narration. I'm like, oh, I took it off because it was hovering too long, but it's like I got to be confident in my entries. I am really good at getting good entries, and this was a perfect entry. You'll see. Hovering a little bit, so I took the 2-tick loss. Regardless of whether that goes, I think that was a good idea. Just because. So I say right there, I took the 2-tick loss, but you'll see it instantly goes in my favor. Right now, it's already 2 ticks in my favor, and that's just. I'm gonna mute my narration because I just want to see how the trade plays out. There's my first target, and it blasts through my first target. So I wouldn't have been waiting to exit there. I still would have been waiting to see how price reacts to that level. And the fact that we just blasted through it, I think I still would have been in it. And right now I'd be up 11 ticks. Maybe take it out here just because there was some volume there. So, I mean, yeah, that could have been a really, really juicy trade. I just piked it. I don't know what else to say. I piked it. So let's screenshot. Do my entry first. Entry was about here. And my exit was literally right here before it ran. And my stop loss I will draw out. Ideal exit probably would have been right here. All right, so I need to mark out my levels here. So first things first, there is a level here. There's a little support resistance. And a little top tick. This is also a HVN, high volume node. And we top tick it, and then we go all the way to the other end of it. So that is my area of interest. think that's it. So we have a support resistance level. We top ticket. That support resistance is also a high volume node on the 3-minute. Maybe I should type that just for a little bit more context. So 3-minute high volume node. High volume node on the 3-minute. We come up and trade all the way through it. It is now invalidated. We top tick the top of it, and then we accept back below. I have multiple targets in mind. The first one is a major order block at what is it, at 92.75, which ends up hitting, and we puke through it. So when we puke through a target, I'm usually going to get out on the other side of it, which I probably would have done for another 2 ticks. So that would have been, what is that, 9 ticks? My entry was 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Yeah, 9 tick win, which would have made my day, honestly. I should add a little bit more context, though, in my heart rate. Heart rate peaked at 128 near my entry. And then I do want to type a little narration here. Lesson: let my stop loss do its job. Invalidation of trade idea would have been continuation above that level, but that never happened, which means trade idea is still valid. Yeah, so it's a bummer. It's a bummer that I didn't catch this move, especially since it was so juicy. But that's just part of being a trader. This was an A+ setup in a risk-on environment with an area of interest. It was pretty conservative, and I dare say too conservative. Conservative move to move. I could have been a little bit more aggressive about it. Just in my execution was way too conservative with a lot of fear, which I'll tag. I had big order blocks and small order blocks in my favor. I technically had one order block against me, but it's old. It's pretty old by now. I'm not going to tag it. I had reclaim favor. I had a top tick. I had trend favor. Multiple factors of support. And pretty much nothing on my backside, except maybe there's a potential for a stop run. I'll tag that just because we've been downtrending the whole day. My entry was perfect, literally perfect, but my exit was way too early. This was a try 2. I didn't really have slip advantage here. I'll tag it slip none. I was very clear on what was happening. I'm going to put maybe calm. My heart rate was above 110. Maybe content. And yes, patient. I was very patient waiting for this to pop up. And I will yellow star it just because I should have held it. Awesome setup, but I just executed it poorly, unfortunately. The rest of the trades are on 1/4 size contracts. So I'm just kind of skip through a lot of these, but let's watch the replays. This one looks like it's just a quick attempt at a long to get some sort of relief bounce higher. I think I had a couple ticks in my favor. but it ended up being a 5-tick loss to the long side, so it ended up coming back on me, unfortunately. Um, heart rate was pretty solid, so I'll do maybe calm, maybe content, maybe patient. As far as tags go, there was really only the big order block in my favor. Maybe since we double bottomed, I'll do support resistance in my favor, but I am against the trend right now. This is a risk off trade because I'm trading against my bias, but it is pretty conservative, so it's not necessarily against my bias. It's a C grade setup. My entry was a little late, and I guess my exit was good because I let it go to my stop. No big mistakes. I was kind of slip against on this one, and my market read was in between because trading to the long side on a downtrend day, there's not a lot of clarity in that. And that'll be a yellow star. Trade number 8 is a 1-tick profit to the short side, again on 1/4 size contracts. Pretty good invalidation play. We come up, invalidate, but we still got a lot of backside risk, so it's not a great setup, and definitely not good enough for me to take on full size. And I think it comes back against me. No, I could have held it, but I would have been holding forever had I held it. So we had some big order blocks in our favor and against us, so they kind of cancel out. I had reclaim favor and trend favor. My entry was good. I suppose my exit was a little early, but just for the sake of consistency, I'll mark it as good. Conservative scalp. Risk on. C setup. I'm not too crazy about it. I did have slip favor. I think I waited for it to come back a little bit. Actually, no, I'll take it. Just take it as slip none. I do think I'm clear here because I know we're gonna keep going lower. I am pretty calm here. My heart rate is pretty stable. Maybe content and maybe patient. I think my patience is thinning a little bit at the end of the session. I'll green star this one. I think it's, decent scalp for 1/4 size. Trade number 9 is a 5-tick loss to the long side using 1/4 size. And kind of the same thing as last time. I think there's a capitulatory move setting up. So I just take a quick little long scalp to the upside, but I'm late, unfortunately. The move is already over, basically. This one might be my only red star. I don't think I should have taken this one. My entry was late. My exit was probably also late. Actually, no, I'm not going to tag those because it's a red star. I didn't have a lot in my favor. I only had one small order block in my favor. And I've got reclaim against me. I've also got the trend against me. This is kind of an aggressive scalp, which means it's against my bias because we're in a risk-off environment. Slip against. I'm confused because we're not going higher. It does not look like a capitulation. However, I am pretty calm here. So I'll keep it as calm, maybe content, maybe patient. Red star. Trade number 10, last trade of the day. 2-tick loss to the long side, but almost a 2-minute hold time. I was in this one for quite a while. Looks like we traded through a lot of that noise. And I think this goes in my favor, like 3 ticks or something like that, but it's just 1 tick short of my target. I think my target there was 86.25, and we rotated off of it. So unfortunately, it comes back on me. This one's a little better. It's not necessarily a red star, but it'll probably be a yellow at the very least. I had big order blocks and small order blocks in my favor. I had a little bit of reclaim favor, and we did invalidate a lot of the reclaim below. So I'll keep that there. Maybe the only thing against me was just trend, because I am trying to catch a knife here. My entry was pretty good, but my exit was late. I should have taken the 3 ticks. This is pretty aggressive scalping. Well, is it? No, I don't think it really is. It's a good setup. I can see why I got in. It's not like my heart rate was high either. It was, hovering. Um, C setup. It's not amazing in a risk off environment. I'll put the impulsive tag on here because I don't think I should have taken it, honestly. Slip none. My clarity was in between. I don't think I'm clear or confused here. Maybe calm. My heart rate was averaging around 110. Maybe content, maybe patient, and yellow star. So that's kind of where I'm at on the day. Definitely room for improvement. Specifically with that A plus trade that I piked. I wish I had stayed in that guy because it really had the potential to be a juicy one. Drink some water real quick. Let's get into report card. My single long-term goal is to take no more than 2 big losses and 3 small losses per session. And because I did exactly that today, I'm going to grade myself as an A. However, in full transparency, I still felt that urge to trade, and I was stalking. I was ready to trade more and to break that rule. It just so happened that the end of the session came up first. To cut myself a little slack, I do think deciding to stop there and thinking, okay, Alex, you have hit your loss threshold. It is the end of your session. Let's stop for the day. I think I shouldn't overlook that. That is impressive. That is good discipline. But if I'm just grading myself objectively, I followed my long-term goal today, which is literally the only success metric that I want to use. As long as I do that, then I am happy with my trading today. Some smaller goals were to take at least 3 pulse check trades, mental trades, before placing my first live trade. And I did do that. I had 3 good pulse checks. Moving forward, I don't necessarily think those pulse checks all have to be winners. They just have to be there. I just need to get a feel for the market before I place any actual trades. So I did that today too, which again plays into why I am graded myself with an A today. My easiest trade, I can give you the objective answer because of my heart rate. But I kind of want to choose it from my full size trades. It'd probably be trade number 4. But that one wasn't very easy. My heart rate still did spike quite a bit. I'll tell you what, it should have been number 4. But I think part of the problem why I'm in this nasty drawdown on my account right now is confidence issues. And I think when I'm not confident in myself, that's what causes my heart rate to go up. And when I placed that trade, while on paper it was a very good setup, I just wasn't confident in it. I didn't have that confidence that I need. And one of the ways I plan on addressing that is through playbooking. I'm going to playbook my setups. I've got one setup in particular that I'm really excited about playbooking that I know has edge, that I know can that I know is repeatable and it occurs pretty frequently, and I'm excited to add that to my repertoire. I have another setup that I think has edge, and I can probably do a pretty good job of repeating it, but it's going to take work. It's going to take a lot of time to refine. It's not going to be ready anytime soon. But by the end of the day today, and by the end of the week, I should at least have one really good setup in my playbook and one maybe good setup in my playbook. So we'll have to wait and see until that's done. I think that will boost my confidence significantly. Even if I just can identify a setup objectively, I think it'll boost my confidence exponentially. Instead of just, you know, trading as the setups appear, I'll know exactly what I'm looking for, and that should boost my confidence. Things I did good. I stopped my session. I stopped at 10:30, just like I always should, and I didn't exceed my rule of three small losses and two big losses. I think it took discipline to do that. I'm proud of myself for doing that, and I'm really proud of this session. I viewed it through an objective lens. That doesn't mean there weren't mistakes, but I didn't repeat any of the really, really bad mistakes that I've made over the last couple sessions. I didn't get too emotional. I didn't break any rules. I managed my losses. I mean, for today to be a red day, it was so tiny. Like the amount of monetary P&L that I lost today is like 10% of what I've lost in the last couple sessions. So the bleeding is stopping. The bleeding is being managed. And I think when that happens, when you're in a drawdown, it's kind of like bankrolling. Eventually the P&L curve will start rounding out to the upside, and I could start fixing this drawdown that I'm in. I also took a break in the session, which is another short-term goal of mine, to take breaks. Ironically, it was after a winning trade. So after that, what was it? So my first, I think it was after trade 4. My heart rate spiked to 129. You could see it right here. Because my heart rate spiked so high, I decided to take a break, and that was the peak. That was the highest my heart rate was throughout the entire session. So I took a break for like 2 to 3 minutes. I did some breathing exercises, and when I came back, my heart rate was back down to resting, like that 80-90 range, which I am super proud of. Things I need to improve on. Number one, if I could take away any lesson from today, it's trust your stop. I mean, I use stop losses for a reason. Um, Sometimes I pick my stop locations poorly, but if for every time I had a bad stop loss versus every time that I either didn't have a stop loss, or I exited before my stop loss, or I moved my stop loss, the amount of money I'm losing on the latter when I'm not respecting my stop loss versus the amount of money I'm losing when, oh, my stop loss got hit and then it went without me. It's incomparable. It's if my stop loss gets hit and then it goes without me, at least I know I tried, and it just wasn't for me. That's trading. No two trades are ever going to be the same. And because I got stopped out, that's just me as a unique trader uh, getting stopped out. There's nothing to look into there. There's nothing to overanalyze. Just trust your stop loss, trust the process, trust my system. Don't don't think that you're smarter than your stop loss. Even, if taking a 2-tick loss versus a 5-tick loss, I mean, it sounds nice to be able to mitigate, but the problem that so many traders run into is, if you're just obsessing about making your losses smaller and smaller and smaller, it's like what about your wins? You're not letting your trades breathe enough to capture the full win. And we're in really low volatility now, but I would hate to see what it looks like in high volatility when my stops are way too tight and I'm getting blown out on every single trade, because I'm trying to keep my risk so small. Risk is your friend in trading. You have to embrace it. You can't be afraid of risk. So if my stop is 5 ticks, and after those 5 ticks the trade is invalid, I have to trust that. I can't play with it. I can't move my stop around. I can't widen it. I can't shorten it. Maybe I can trail it, but I don't want to get into that right now. I'm still trying to become consistent before I do stuff like that. But in order to achieve that consistency, just let your stop loss do its job. Don't play with it too much. I also, while I did technically stop trading after I hit my risk rules, I was still trying to trade after, and that's bad. Um, so I don't want to trick myself into thinking, oh, I did awesome today. I was 100% disciplined. Because while I was 100% disciplined on paper, those feelings, those emotions of wanting to keep trading were still there, and I need to address that. Because if I had hit my risk allowance at 9:45, I would have kept trading, and today would have been a really bad day. It just so happened that I hit my risk allowance at 10:25, and my sessions always end at 10:30, and I figured, okay, let's stop now. But that's a contentment issue. I'm not content with being done for the day, and I need to practice that. I need to practice that feeling of contentment and just saying, okay, you tried, you're red on the day, you've hit your risk allowance. Let's be done. Let's stop for the day. Uh, and maybe sit and watch, turn off, lock your DOM, maybe even close the execution Sierra chart, and just watch the price action instead of, well, how can I make it back? How can I make it back? How can I just one more trade, just this once? Because that mentality, just this once, it kills you. It kills accounts. It kills traders. Literally, not to over exaggerate or anything, but this there are traders who end their own lives because of this. So, like, if that's not enough stakes for you, then I don't know what is. So that would probably be my second thing, is to work on contentment. I plan on doing that through hypnosis, just trying to access that ideal state of mind, and by practicing contentment through my sessions, being content with just watching, sit and watch the price action. You don't have to trade every candle. Um, and I think that's it. Otherwise, I'm really happy with my session. I remember saying this a couple weeks ago with a bad session I had. If every red session that I ever had could look like today, I would be a millionaire, because this is a perfect red session. The losses were managed. I didn't lose too much. I didn't spiral. I didn't go on tilt. Um, it just wasn't my day. It just didn't work, and that's fine. It happens to every trader. Every trader has red days, and if every red day could look like this, I would be beyond happy. So, I'm gonna try to replicate this next time. The reason I set that long term goal of 2 big losses and 3 small losses is that so all of my red days were consistent, because when traders hear the word consistency, they think of a P&L curve that just goes upward and to the right, and you're always making money. But being a consistent trader also means consistently losing. You need to be a consistent loser in order to be a consistent winner. There's no, you can't have one without the other. And if every losing session could look like this, could look like today, then I am on the track to consistency. That's it. That's all I have to worry about. So, here's hoping that in the next couple weeks, couple months, and couple years, that I can replicate these losing days, and that when I do have a losing day, the bleeding is minimal, like this. Like, this is just tiny. This is a flesh wound. I can make back what I lost today in less than a session. In one trade, probably I can make back what I lost today. So, let's hope I can continue on this path, and I guess we'll check in later this week.